So, welcome back, everybody. You'll notice that we have been joined by 8 very special guests. Here to introduce our special guests and to moderate our customer experience panel discussion are Brett Logan, Senior Vice President and Senior Director of Operations Management, and Dale Engelken, Director of Market Research.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. This is the fun part. This is why we are here at LCS. We're here to serve people who are on the stage. We have a mixture of people today. You'll notice that we have some a little bit older than others. So we have what we talked about as the Betty. You remember the Betty story? She's our resident now. But in this case, we have John. What we're saying is here we have residents who are a little older, and we call them the Bettys. The Lindas are the adult children, and in this case we have mostly adult daughters, and we have one person who is just a kind of adult advisor in this case. So we're going to ask them some specific questions today, and we're going to walk through this, and we've kind of prepped them. We haven't really told them much of anything. We told them, hey, we're going to have fun. We told them, don't look at this big crowd, don't be scared, this is fun. A little bit about myself. I am the Director of Market Research. I've been there for 3 years. Before that, I have about 26 years in other capacities. But at LCS, I'm responsible for doing resident panels like this, interviewing people who are our residents. I'm also responsible for resident satisfaction, focus groups, and a variety of other kind of research work.
Thank you. And I'm Brett Logan, Senior Vice President of LCS. And my office is in Charlotte, North Carolina, although I grew up right across the state line in Indiana. So I was telling our friends here that I'm basically from this area, which I think I am. But living in North Carolina, Katie said I developed an accent. So I've been with the company, if I make it to June, have been with the company for 28 years. So thank you. And I oversee most of the nonprofit communities that we manage along the East Coast, so from New Hampshire down to Florida.
Okay. One thing I want to make clear is we have 2 different communities represented today. These communities are right here in the Chicago area. We have 4 people from Clarendale of Mokina. We have 2 guests, and they're people from Windermere as well. They're people who are their daughters in this case. And we're going to go down this row, and we're going to ask them to explain who they are. So we're going to start with you, Rita. Tell me a little about, first of all, introduce yourself and who you are, and let me see what else we have here. How long have you lived in the community? And also, if you're not the resident, you know who you are in relationship to the person next to you.
Yes, my name is Rita McGilvery, and I have been in Clarendale of Mokina for 7 months now, so almost from the very opening of it. And I find it very pleasant. The staff are wonderful, and the residents are great too. So I'm very comfortable there. I'm not sorry that it was a big decision in the first place to move, because I was in my home for 40 years. And then all of a sudden, my children wanted me to move to a retirement community, and I fought it tooth and nail. But here I am. And this is my daughter-in-law, Beth, who put the deposit down on the apartment. Before she even told me.
Thank you, Beth.
And they were still building Clarendale, so we would drive around there and watch it. And I had gone to the sales office in Mokina, both of us, and she showed us what was available. At first I looked at a third floor apartment, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. So my name was still on the list, but then Catherine called me saying there was an opening in a larger apartment, and would I be interested in looking at it? And I said I would, and we both went and looked at it, and it was just perfect, just perfect. I have 2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We're going to ask you those questions. We love you, of course. But I'm going to have you move down.
I am Beth McGilvery, the daughter-in-law. Yes, I think as she told you, we went out there and I went and put a deposit on and thought it would be great for her, and then had to go home and tell her that we are going to do this, and it's been a great experience for her.
And Beth, real quick, just for the audience, where did you hear about Clarendale?
My hairdresser, actually. So, it's been great, though.
Note to the crowd, go to hairdressers and get them to learn your community.
Go ahead, Sherry.
I'm Sherry Spiro, and this is my mother, Jeanette. And she doesn't listen, so we put her in Clarendale. And she still doesn't listen. And whenever we're in public, she tells people, my daughter put me in a home. Okay, go, Jean.
My name is Jeanette Danowitz, and this is my lovely daughter, who literally watched Clarendale being built brick by brick, and then she would drive me past it all the time, and I'd say, yeah, it's nice, but take me home. And I lost my husband 2 years ago, and we lived in our home for 58 years, and I felt I couldn't leave it. I just had to be there, even though he was gone. And they were worried about me being alone there, and my washer and dryer and stuff were down in the basement, and there was steps, and I have a leg problem now and use a walker, so they were scared to death that I was going to fall. So I just told them, well, I'd come and live with one of them, but they didn't like it. I don't understand that, but anyway. Instead, they got me in Clarendale, literally got me in Clarendale. And I'm not sorry now that I'm there. It's a wonderful atmosphere and wonderful people, and the workers are wonderful. It's so much more than I thought it would be, because it frightened me at first, and now it's comfortable. It's comfortable.
Thank you.
I guess I'm next. I'm Andy Mankin, and this is my dad, John. And from what I've heard so far, I think I'm probably the opposite. I didn't want them to move in there because I wanted to take care of them. But I work a lot, so I'm really thankful that they're in there, and because they only lived a few blocks from me in Wheaton. We're the Windermere side, and I had always heard about Windermere. I'd be at church, and the Windermere bus would drive up with everybody. Sometimes at the grocery store, the Windermere bus would drive up with everybody. So I knew of Windermere, but I had never been there. And it's been a wonderful thing, and I'm very thankful that they're there. But it was hard for me a little bit, but I'm glad that they're there.
I'm John Polis. As you know, my daughter didn't want us to go. It goes back a long time where my wife's mother lived with us, and she had Alzheimer's. And so we went through a lot of hard years taking care of her. And so one of the big reasons we moved to Windermere, basically because my daughter said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." And we didn't want that. And so we moved, it took us 4 years to make up our mind.
Poor Judy.
Yeah, poor Judy. She even went to our house a couple of times with a rope to bring us in. It's been delightful, and we're so, so happy there now. Thank you.
My name is Jean Dolly, and I come from Lombard. And after I lost my husband, I'm in a Cape Cod house on a corner lot, and my only son is married with 2 children living in a condominium. And I thought, no way should he raise 2 children in a condo. So I told them that they should come and take my house. And he said, we'll trade. And I said, no, they're in Chicago. I don't want to be in Chicago. I still want to be in the suburbs. So we agreed that I would find a retirement home. I went to look at one. It was too big. And I honestly don't know how I found Windermere. It was just meant to be. I get tearful. It really was, because I'd never heard of it before. It's just 8 miles away from my house. So when I went over there, and everything looked just so nice, so I took somebody with me the next time to make sure that it was. And my friend agreed, and so it didn't take me long, and it was a good experience. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie Hoey, Katie McInerney. This is my mother's dearest friend from when I was growing up. She moved in, kind of talked my mom into moving in, but once again, it took a little while. And the first 6 months were a little tough for my mom, but she's ever since been loving it, goes to dinner with the ladies. Obviously, they go to dinner, they play cards, and really, truly, the staff is fabulous.
Well, thank you for those great introductions, and a couple of you got into your story a little bit, so we're going to hopefully ask you some questions and then let you answer them, and we'll probably start and say, you know, Katie, maybe you should go first, and then we'll start from the other end or in the middle. But the theme for our meeting here is United, Strong, and Elite. And if you look on the board here, you can see that we have an Olympic theme, and John Neighbor just spoke to us. He was an Olympic swimmer, and so the questions that we're going to ask are hopefully going to bring that theme into the United, Strong, Elite type of thing. So the first questions that I'm going to ask you, is when did you first decide to start looking into senior living? And a couple of you already covered that, which is good. And then how did you start your research? How did it work? And we know the hairdresser story, so which is a great one. So can we start with you, Katie?
My mother was kind of had health issues a couple years ago. And when she came home from the hospital, we had visiting angels come and spend almost a year with her. As she got healthier, I thought, she's too far from home, she has to get closer, so I got onto the website looking for independent living homes, and then I got bombarded with mail, and lots of mail, like more mail than I ever thought I was ever going to get. And so when Jean went with us to see another place in Batavia, which was not far from my house, I really liked it, but I knew that to get my mother there, she had to have somebody she knew there. So really, truly, because of Jean and Judy, kind of a family member, they kind of helped push her along. It did take a long time, and she bought in December, and she finally moved in April, because it was one of those like, Mom, if you don't move in April, my schedule is getting busy, you're not going to be there. So I had to kind of push her to go, but I can tell you that when I packed her bags, she sat on the couch and watched. And when I unpacked her, she sat and watched, but now she loves it. So, so that's my story.
Jean?
I already told how I got there, and it didn't take me long once I made the decision to come over. And when I went to Windermere, everybody was so accommodating and helping and showing me what to do, and they came to my house and helped me decide what furniture I wanted to bring. And that was a tough decision, because having a big house, I had a lot of furniture. My kids didn't want it, so I had to find it. And Meg was so good about drawing a picture for me, and then she sent it on email, so I knew exactly where all my pieces were going to fit in. And they just did a good job, you know, of helping me stay where I am. I don't know what else to say. Go ahead, John.
That's fine. John?
We weren't completely, sure to go. And I mentioned one reason, but I think another very important reason was companionship. As you get older and you're in your home and all of a sudden you lose this neighbor, this friend from moving or other things. You have friends in church, but all of a sudden you're looking, and when we had all these parties and all these friends, life is full of everything, and then all of a sudden we're lacking something. We're lacking companionship. And I don't think the men lack it as much as the women, but that was, I think, one of the biggest reasons, for us to go. And so we started looking around, and again, I don't know either how we got to Windermere. We lived about a mile from there, but we were set to stay home. I had an 88 bathroom, walk-in showers, everything all prepared, everything on one floor. Spent all that money. Anyway.
John's a planner.
But I lost my thoughts. See, that's also very, you can use that up there. I don't remember. But we looked around. We met Judy Miltner, showed us around. We were very impressed, and yet we weren't quite ready. We started looking at other places, and truthfully, nothing matched up like Windermere did. And we had a dog, so we had to have certain, like on the first floor. So we looked at other apartments, and Judy would call us every so often, I got an apartment for you. And this went on and on. She came to our house crawling up the sidewalk. And we felt sorry for her. Yeah, being a Greek with a big heart, you just, anyway. So one day, again, she calls us, she says, I got the spot for you. And, okay, we go over there, and it was the spot. It was the apartment, the location, and everything, and we felt very, very comfortable. So we decided to move in. And again, I don't know if there's going to be any questions about moving in.
Yes?
All right, I'll
Wait, save those.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Andy?
I think I mentioned that I had heard of Windermere many times from different experiences in the neighborhood, and they kept being intrigued with it. And I'd go with them. Judy would host us at Windabar, and we'd look at so many different units, and it was really finding the right one and when the time was right. I think the biggest turnaround was knowing that they'd be safe and that they would be taken care of, even though I still could be part of that. But I think the atmosphere, when Dad talks about the companionship and the fellowship, and it really is a community that is giving and embracing them, and they've gotten really involved where, the grandkids would come over and everything, but they have their own group of friends now. Now we want to come see them, and they're too busy for us. They have too much going on.
They help us with the computer.
Yeah. We are that commercial. So I think one of the other turning points, Judy, you'll get a kick out of this, was one of the, I don't know, maybe the third or fourth time that we were going there to look at another unit, and I had a broken foot. And so my mom and dad are walking the halls and everything, and Judy was pushing me in a wheelchair.
Hey, let's all give a hand to Judy. Way to go.
I wanted to move in.
Jeanette?
Well, I first didn't want to leave my home. Like I said, I lived there for 58 years. My neighbors around me were the original ones, and even though Bob, my husband, was gone, I thought I just can't leave the house. So my daughter, and then my son and my other daughter, they got together and they were saying, no, you have to go where Sherry's going to take you to look. And Sherry did. Sherry took me to a lot of places to look. But then she saw Clarendale being built, and she thought, oh, and it's only 10 minutes from where she lives, which makes her happy. And so she insisted that I come and look at it. So then we went into, it wasn't quite finished yet, so we had to go and sign up if I wanted to, and I said I didn't. And she took me in to meet, and so I got to meet Bridget, who showed me the, what do you call it, a blueprint, and I thought, how do I know
Floor
what
plan?
that is from a blueprint? You know, but it wasn't finished yet, so I couldn't actually go in and look at the apartment. So anyway, I had pictures and whatnot, and Bridget was so nice about explaining everything. And then my daughter, Sherry, said, you know, Grandma lived with us for 36 years. You don't want to really live with us like Grandma did, do you? Of course, that was right. I loved my mother dearly, but some days... You know how a mother is. She thinks she can keep telling you what to do and when to do and that. Doesn't make any difference you're married and have children. You still have to live. And I'm thinking, they think I'm going to be like her. I'm not like her. So they insisted that I go over there, and I kept saying no, and she literally dragged me over there.
In your hand and said sign.
She did. She put a pen in my hand and said, sign. So that's how I got to Clarendale.
Sherry, do you have anything to add to that?
That all being said, which some of it was true, but no, when my father passed, it was very hard for my mom, and at the time she was having some health problems, and she was invited to live with her son, her daughter, and her other daughter, but she said no. But she said, I lived with my mother for that many years. I'm not going to do that to you. And I'm like, really? Anyway, but we did get in touch with the place for Mom, and we were flooded by phone calls and emails and mail, just like she had said. Not saying that it wasn't a bad thing or anything, but we went to 15 retirement places.
Wow.
She said no. No. I didn't like that. No. Even after we signed the papers at Clarendale, 2 weeks before the deposit was going to go through, she said no. I put her in the car and I drove her to the office, and Catherine saved our lives. She was so sweet and so beautiful. And I think the transition for anybody leaving a home after so many years, especially after a death, you have to have somebody who has a heart and can love. And I'm telling you, the Clarendale staff, that's who they are.
That's why we do what we do.
Yes, my mother-in-law lost her husband almost 2 years ago, and it was not an easy decision for her to leave and go into Clarendale, but she had suffered from some depression afterwards and would not want to socialize or do much of things, and she has many falls and hospital stays, and we kept worrying about her, and heard from my hairdresser about Clarendale, a new place opening up, and we had looked at other places that were a little large and I think overwhelming for her, but she loved the smaller community at Clarendale, and I went over and looked at the building being built, and then went over to the office without her knowledge, because she was not going to move from the house, and signed there, and then had to go tell her. And it's been a great thing for her, because now instead of worrying about if we can't get a hold of her because maybe she fell and she was laying there, now she's either at the pub or playing bingo or just lots of activities, and yeah, the companionship. She's made a lot of friends there, so it's been great.
Thank you. Rita, let's hear your answer.
Well, I think you know half of my story already. But yes, I'm very happy where I am, and it's true. My children are always trying to reach me on the phone, and I usually don't carry my cell phone with me, so they are very fit to be tied that they can't get in touch with me. They said, "You're always busy, you're never there." And it's true. It's a very active life. If you want it to be, if you don't want it to be, it's just your own choice, which makes it very nice. But everyone is very friendly, and I'm not at all sorry that I moved.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, let me pause to say you guys are doing great. I see a lot of tears up here, and it's even hard for me to even talk to you. It's great, you know. So keep coming. I really appreciate it. We're going to move on to a different subject here. We're going to talk about what forms of media did you get. I heard you were talking about direct mail. I heard you talk about maybe a little bit of internet search. So what forms of media did you have when you were searching for your community, and how did you go about that process? So Rita, you want to start on this end this time?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
When you were looking for your community, or when Beth was looking for the community, what media, such as letters in the mail or the internet, what did you get, or what did you search for?
Well, I guess I got letters, and we had just looked at other places, and I didn't really see anything through the internet, but found out about this place through the hairdresser.
Is it all hairdresser?
All the hairdresser.
So it's a referral in that case?
Pardon?
A referral?
A referral?
Yes, from the hairdresser, yes.
The hairdresser.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't looking too hard because she did not want to move.
Were you looking for her?
Yes, we had been looking for her, and just looked at other places that we had known about, and we did see, after I'd heard about it from my hairdresser, we did see it in the local newspapers about Clarendale going up, and so we looked there, but yeah, she did not want to search it out too much because she did not want to move.
Okay, that's fair enough. How about you, Sherry?
Well, the specific as Clarendale, we had a hard time finding information on it because the construction company had the name of the company, but I didn't even know it was an LCS community or anything, you know, at that time. So we would search it on the internet. We couldn't find things, and then finally I think the local paper, The Patch, put something out, and there was a number to call. And I simply just gave them my number, and then I did get a call back, and then I think Bridget was my first contact for it. But when I had gone through the media and stuff, we had gone through a place for Mom. But it was just so overwhelming with all and even after I told them that we had already found a place, they just kept going and talking. But we did visit a lot of communities, so I leave it up to that.
Okay.
Like I said, she did take me to a lot of different communities, but then when she showed me how Clarendale was just being built, and then we did get to see things, and then when we went to the office and saw everything else and talked to everybody, she was convinced that that's where she wanted me to be, plus the fact that I'd be so close to her. I was only 10 minutes away. And that made her happy because, God forbid, if I needed her for something, she'd be right there. So that was why we chose Clarendale, after we saw the different pictures and different things on it, and that was why we chose it.
You chose it because Bridget and you were talking about Polish sausage.
And, no,
What's that?
That's Lithuanian sausage and kugla. That's what we were talking about.
That's why you picked it. You looked at 15 places and didn't like it, and you picked it from a picture because you liked Bridget's Polish sausage story.
She sounded like my kind of people.
It's the truth. It is the truth. You know it is.
Yes, it is.
Andy?
You know, I don't know what media, actually. I think for me, it was more reputation in the community and word of mouth and knowing people that already live there from church. I know that they looked at other places as well, but I guess my dad would have to speak to what media, because they'd say we got an appointment, and I said, okay, I'm coming, you know, so I wasn't the one that was really seeking it out as much as they were.
Like I said, it took us 4 years to make up our mind, so we weren't aggressively, looking around. But we'd get a flyer in the mail, and so we'd basically go over, take a look at that, and also by word of mouth. So, and I don't think there was much at that time on TV that we noticed. But, we kept looking and looking, and after 4 years, I pulled up to Windermere, and I ran out of gas, and there I was.
You just happened to run out of gas right in front of Windermere.
We got lucky.
One thing probably to mention is just, since it was such a long process, I would say the media, if you had to say where Windermere kept coming from, I'd say was the persistence of Judy. Because, and I don't, a good persistence, not a bad persistence, it was a good persistence, but, she didn't give up on them. She knew eventually she'd get them there. So.
She had to crawl up the front walkway.
I don't think the media had any influence on me at all. I just kind of made up my mind and went over and did my thing, and I can't say that I ever saw any media referring to Windermere, or I didn't pay any attention to any other ones because I wasn't interested, so I really don't have anything to say about the media.
Okay.
Well, I do. I actually, because I was looking in, as I said, on the internet, and I started getting a lot of phone calls, which kind of like piqued my curiosity as to, can I get my mom into a place like this? So I got a lot of flyers in the mail, and really and truly I would look at them, but I based mine off of location to my house. What's closer to me? Mm-hmm. So a lot of them I'm like, Barrington Hills, sorry if you're in Barrington Hills. Too far. Places were too far. So when the first place, Jean went with my mother and I just to look, and this is even before Jean had decided she was going to go to an independent living. And so we looked at that, and I loved it, but I knew once again my mom wouldn't go if she didn't have a friend. So when I heard Jean was going in, I'm like, yes. So it sounds terrible going in, but when she's but when I heard Jean was going to sign up to go to Windermere, I thought, well, this is perfect. And then Judy, because she is a friend of the family's, her perseverance really did pay off. Mm-hmm.
A senior moment?
No, it's not quite. So as a sibling, as a child, you don't want to push your folks into it. They help make it happen. I'm back. No, that's true, because Judy pushed her. I didn't feel like it was me pushing her. And I don't mean pushed her, but really encouraged her. So if she didn't like it, it was Judy's fault. Sorry.
Wow. All right. Great story. Thank you. So what was, the next question is, what was most important to you when you started your evaluation? So, Katie, are you okay? Or you want to?
I'm good. No, I'm good.
All
right. Location, definitely. The staff. Knowing, obviously Jean was there and Jean was loving it. For me, lady at the end, I think Rita, she's made a comment about her kids never getting a hold of her. I called my mom 3 times a day, and if she didn't answer, I'd be like, she didn't tell me she was going anywhere. Do I need to drive out to find her? Check on her. And I'm like, no, I'll just call the neighbors. And then I would wait, and I'd wait 30 minutes, and I'd call back, and then she'd answer. I'm like, you scared me. She's, oh, I was in the bathroom. I meant to call you back. I'm like, no, you got to call me, because I was the one that called her 3 times a day, make sure she's okay. So now I don't worry now, because I know that if she's not in her room, I could call somebody and they could go check on her, but I know she's okay. So I don't call her 3 times a day anymore. I call her during the day, and I used to call her every night before bed. I don't have to do that anymore. Jean takes care of her.
Thank you, Jean.
What was the question? Yeah, what was the question?
The question was, what was important to you when you were doing your evaluation?
I think the friendliness of the people. I mean, everybody was very accommodating, and they'd kind of ask you questions to see what you wanted, what you needed, and everything. But very caring, and even the kids in the lunchroom and everything, they are so good and so caring, and you know, it's just a real comfortable place. I think that's where I feel safe and comfortable. Okay, John.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think most important was the facilities. In other words, they had the health club, which I liked. They had art studio, all the different things you can participate in, and that was very important because I'm pretty active and energetic, and I need all these things to feel good. And I tell you, they have too much going on, so I can say that now. But the entire layout, the apartments, the staff, the lobby, I mean, and the decor, there were a lot of things that entered into it that you don't think of until you really think about it. And it was just the perfect place for us. That's all I can tell you. Thank you.
When they were looking, I'd say a lot of what my dad, you know, I'd probably echo a lot of what my dad just said. It's very clean. That would probably be important to me, that it was really clean and well kept and maintained, not just the grounds, you know, inside, outside. Every unit we looked at was beautiful. They were decorated differently, but they were all beautiful units. And again, the reputation of the place and the staff was, you know, everybody was so friendly, as you guys have, you know, talked about. So, I don't know, I think cleanliness was kind of important to me. If you could see my house, you wouldn't get it, but, you know.
I just thought of another important thing. You know, we have a bistro, which is like a nice dining and a bar. And when I found out that they carried Beefeater's gin, that did it.
That's awesome. All right, note to self, Beefeater's gin. Jeanette, since you really weren't really involved in your decision to move there, was there something that was important to you when you were being drugged?
Well, there were a lot of things that were going through my head about, you know, leaving my neighbor. When you live in a home for 58 years, it's hard to, you know, you think you're leaving everything behind. But I have to tell you, being there at Clarendale, the people, I have so many friends today, it's unreal. I mean, everybody, I don't care who you talk to or who you approach, everyone is so nice and helpful. And then the staff, oh, the staff is unbeatable. Everybody. You got a problem, just pick up the phone or whatever and just tell them, and they're right there. If something goes wrong in your apartment, there's a maintenance person right there. So everything is just for you. You are like number one all the time. Yeah, you are always number one.
Thank you. Sherry, other than being right across the street from you, what was important when you were doing your search?
It was actually very important was location.
Location, yeah?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time with my mom, and she had cardioversion right before she moved in. So it was a concern to me, and she did not want to leave her home. So I thought, even if she was at Clarendale, you know, she's 2 minutes from me, you know, she could spend a lot of time, you know, at the home with us. I have a severely handicapped child, so I think they have some kind of thing going on between them, like they do things like fish fries and everything that's real important to them and part of their agenda. Now we want to go to Grandma's restaurant, so that's Grandma's restaurant. But location wasn't different, but it was odd to me, though, that she was so picky at every facility we looked at, sometimes twice. She was not happy with anything. And to see her intrigued with the fact of looking at a picture and saying, okay, but like I said, at the last minute, she did not want to do it. So, and it was the people. It was Catherine and Bridget that brought her to Clarendale.
Catherine and Bridget, way to
Ryan.
go. Beth?
We wanted her to feel very comfortable because she did not want to leave home, and Clarendale had a cocktail reception while it was being built and brought everyone together, and she was able to meet people, and they answered a lot of questions, and they cared. They seemed like they really cared about her, and she, it's just been, she used to fall a lot, and just even having the safety of, they have a little thing that she carries in her pocket that it has a GPS thing on it, so if she falls, she, needs help, presses it, we know she's, being taken care of and not worrying that she's laying somewhere, which has happened before, waiting for someone, or, but yeah, just to make sure it felt like home. She had to have a balcony because she wanted to be able to go sit out, so just a homey place.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I am very comfortable there. I have no regrets, and even though I was not enthused about it in the first place, in fact, probably the week before I was supposed to move in, I was still, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I can't leave my house. And, everything seems to fall in place. Once you start the wheel turning, it's for your best interest. And they were so worried about me falling down the stairs at my house. Of course, I thought I'd never do that. So 2 weeks after being in Clarendale, what happened? I fell and broke my wrist. So
From a ladder that she was on.
And so accidents can happen any place. But I remember when I did that, I didn't have that little button with me, but I was able to pull the emergency cord, and the girl at the front desk was up there, 1, 2, 3, and everything worked out just fine. So I rely on the staff very much, and they're always there for us, and that means a whole lot.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to switch to a different theme. As you saw, we have United, Strong, Elite as our theme for the conference. I want each of you as pairs to talk about how united you two were in your decision to choose the community you chose. So Rita, you know where you ended up, right? Clarendale, so, but how united were you and your daughter-in-law?
Well, I think my daughter-in-law had to do a lot of convincing. Actually, she just tried to impress the fact that I would be perfectly safe there, wouldn't have to worry about anything, and my children all agreed with her, of course. But she did twist my arm quite a bit.
Having a month-to-month rent, that was a huge thing for her, too, that she always knew, well, if I don't like, she kept saying, if I don't like it, I'm leaving. I'm out in a month, and she's never once wanted to.
Great. Okay, so the question is, your unity in the exact community you choose. I know you looked at a different one, so how was your decision when in the end, how united were you?
It's hard to say. I don't really think it, when we first started there, and it was kind of like the same thing, well, I don't have to stay. If I go, like, you can still come home or, come back to us. And at the time, the house was going to be empty, that she was leaving and everything. But I don't think that unity was there. I mean, we worked all together, the siblings and everything, and tried, but she was just so apprehensive. She was very nervous. She was one of the first people. to be there. She was very quiet, she was shy, now she's the social director. I mean, seriously. But, you know, I mean, did we ever think that would happen? No. Are we united now? Yes, because of Clarendale. But I don't think in their initial decision, no, there wasn't no unity, because everybody was worried about different things. And
Thank you. Jeanette?
Oh, I'm really very close to my daughter, feelings and everything else, and then the fact that she does have a handicapped child. She's got a 724 job. He is now 23. He is now 23 years old, and they said he'd never live past 1. So, and he is so special. But she's so busy with him, needless to say, because he's in a wheelchair and very incapacitated. He can't do it. But anyway, she still has time. She would make sure she would either come by my house when she could, or she was right there for me all the time. My other daughter lives in Indiana. She would come and stay overnight. She'd come from work, stay overnight, and go back to work the next day. So my kids really are close to me. And when they were all so insistent about me going to Clarendale, when I really thought about it, I thought, you know, as much as they care for me and want me to be near them, they really want the best for me. And that's probably what really made the decision, is the fact that the three of them were they wanted me to be there to be safe. They were worried about me being alone.
Well said. Thank you.
I think united, I think we were united. I know I said I didn't want them to move there at the beginning. I think my mom was the driver of that bus. She really wanted to go there. I think you were a little more resistant, but I think my dad was more, I think my dad was more, well, if it makes her happy kind of thing. And I think I had said that at the beginning I didn't want them to go because I wanted to take care of them, but I tried to be really supportive. And then I kept going, what is it that's bugging me about this? And I couldn't figure it out, and I kept trying to be discerning as to why that felt that way. And then I remember this moment at their house, and I'll probably start crying, but the reason I didn't want them to move there was because that meant they were getting old. And that was really hard for me because my mom and my... You're not old, though.
Okay, stop it.
We're like the Three Musketeers, my mom and dad and I, like all for one, one for all. So, you know, once I could tell that they were really moving in that direction, and once I had my little epiphany of why, and then I think we were really united. You know, I was supportive as I could be, and we kind of did it all together, the three of us. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I hope.
No, once the decision was made, I said, hey, we're moving, that's it, that's our new life. Be happy and enjoy it. And we went in there with that feeling, and the joy has been so much better than we even expected. And I made the best decision of my life, other than marrying my wife.
I'm going to defer to Katie.
I just look at, like, once again, G moved in, then my mom was thinking about moving in, and we went and looked a couple times, and mom was pretty hip on it, but of course, the brothers, who are not normally involved in anything, I'm sure you know that, she had to have each and every one of them come and look and make sure. So I had to call the one brother who was always too busy. I'm like, you don't understand, you're holding this up. You have to find time, because once Brother Ray says it's okay, she's going to move, because I don't know what I'm doing. So sure enough, once the last brother finally went through and told Mom he thought it was a good idea, we was united strong without a doubt, because she was ready.
Thank you. So, in our audience today, we have obviously salespeople, and you've mentioned some of them. We also have executive directors that run our communities and the administrators that run the health centers in our communities. So my next question is going to be, talking about the theme United, what advice would you give executive directors, administrators, and salespeople working together to attract people to our communities? Katie, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. Well, I think that it starts from the minute you walk in the door. I think it's obviously the sales team, but somebody over there said something about, and I'm drawing a blank who it was, but even the people in the dining room. It goes from the dining room to the nurses to the physical therapist, or the lady that works, whoever's working in the gym, even everybody from the minute you walk in. I believe what sells the place is cleanliness, without a doubt. It's openness. Everybody's so friendly, whether it be the residents or the staff. Even when the maintenance guy comes in, how incredibly polite and sweet they are. I think that from top to bottom, it really is a selling point. The other selling point is the nurses. Knowing that if you have an issue, they're there. And that's really big.
Thank you.
In addition to what Katie said, because I would repeat the same thing, when we walk in, everybody should be smiling and happy and want to be able to meet and greet. But in addition to that, we've got things to do. We've got the exercise room, we've got classes to do, we've got buses that take us different places, and we have church on Sunday, and we can take our bus to our own church or drive. They have brunches to try and get together the people, so you're always something to meet and greet. We've got card groups, any kind of cards you want to play. But it's important that you can do things while you're there to keep busy, because you just don't sit in your room every day, and there's always something to do, and that's important. Okay, John.
Very good. John?
I think just like any business, when you first go in there, you look at the staff, you look around, and a thing that I find at Windermere, as soon as you go in the door, there's someone there to say hello, and meaning, what could I do for you? And then that just carries through the whole place. I can go on and on, cleanliness and so on, but I think it's the beginning as you walk in. The grounds are beautiful, the entrance is beautiful. You go in, the lobby's gorgeous, and you're just kind of wowed right off the bat. And then the people come and say, what can I do for you, and so on. And I think that's the beginning of the sales program.
One of the things that we've been saying throughout this conference is operations is sales and sales is operations, and what the three of you said is definitely coming true, so thank you.
I think from a sales perspective, if you put yourself in the mindset that you're trying, when you go to your own homes right now, I'm assuming that after a long day at work doing this that you're trying to do, it's not easy. And you come home and you can kick off your shoes and relax. And so you're really selling that to someone else, that feeling that you have when you're in your own home. And if you can communicate that relaxed environment that I feel wonderful when I'm in my own home, and that's what this will be to the people that you're trying to sell the facility to, that would probably help a lot, because you get that feeling, as everybody is echoing, that when you walk in the door, you get that from the person at the front desk to the salespeople to every person that we met. When we'd walk down the halls, Judy knew every resident's name. I mean, and she didn't just say hello, she was, hello, mister, and everybody knew her. I mean, it was just a family there. So it's almost like you were, if you're communicating to the people that you're trying to sell to, that this is going to be your new home, and show them how that home could be for them, I think that would be really something, if I were trying to sell, that I would probably do. Not that I'm a salesperson, but.
Thank you. Jeanette?
When you first come in there, everybody immediately in the staff just makes you feel so comfortable. And then, like she said, you have an apartment there, and you can go, you're in your apartment, but it's all of a sudden, it's not just an apartment, it's home. It really feels like home. And you walk down the halls and you see this one, and it's hi, and how are you, and hi. What did you do? I didn't see you yesterday. Did you eat? Oh, I didn't notice you in the dining room. How come you didn't eat? Didn't you want to go down for breakfast? And it's just, you know, you're talking to them just like you're talking to your family, and then you realize all of a sudden, after you're there for a while, it is your family. Everybody here is your family. And the workers are fantastic. They're family.
Well, I was real happy to know that, like, her doctor can actually come into the facility and she could meet with him there. Of course, the nurse. At the beginning, there was that one time that we couldn't get a hold of her, and we had called the front desk, and within 2 seconds, she'd returned my call. But, you know, it's everything that you could possibly want in a home community. I think it would be wonderful, but the Clarendale should be bigger so we could fill it up more. I mean, seriously, I mean, and as far as like the community, I think there is a lot of people that don't realize how nice these facilities are. And I know there's signs out, you know, that say tours daily and stuff, but it's word of mouth. I think she's got 2 people from her neighborhood there now too, and she'll probably get more.
Jeanette, bring all your friends.
I just wish.
I did bring 2 of them already.
Thank you.
But yes, I mean, could I ask for anything else, or could something else make me want? I think the best thing to do is to go out into the community and share the stories. That's all you can really do.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. One of the things we say is the sales staff sell and you know, sell the picture, but it's the operations staff that have to deliver on that promise. So.
And you know what though, that is truly it. Yeah. I mean, Ryan, that team that there is Clarendale, there's always smiles, there's always there's that heart, there's that love, and that's that home feeling. I mean, it's just you can walk in there even in a bad mood, which I do a lot. But, you know, I'm usually rushing in and out and stuff, but you come in there and you get that warm feeling, and it's so important.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Beth?
Yes, Catherine and Ryan, I mean, they were so friendly from the beginning, and I mean, everyone on the staff, they greet you when you come in. There's even the dining staff, everyone, they all know them by name, so it really became home for her, and she does. It took her a while, but she does consider that her home, and she refers to it as home. And I think it's just the staff is always so there for them. If we can't get, one time we couldn't, just not too long ago, get a hold of her, and I just called the front desk, and they just peeked around, and just by looking, they said, oh yeah, she's having dinner in the dining room, she's having a good time. And so it's a great staff that really makes them feel welcome.
Thank you. Rita?
Well, just as Jeanette said, everyone there is so friendly, and they make you feel so comfortable. And for a long time, I was calling it my apartment, but now I call it my home also.
That actually leads it very well into the next subject. I want you to think about when you were first looking for your new home. Think about your thoughts and your perceptions and how they changed over time to what they are now. Can you share what it was like from the beginning to now? Rita, I'll let you start.
Well, from the beginning, of course, everything is new. You go through a period of adjustment, but it didn't take me long. Because, like I say, everyone was so friendly, and if there was anything I needed, I just had to ask, and I would have it. And my family was always welcome there also. I have a daughter who sometimes spends the weekend there with me, and she's just accepted like one of the residents. And so I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I'm going to re-ask the question just to make sure I'm clear. What I'm asking really is, you started down a journey maybe several months ago, and you were thinking about a retirement community is this, and now you're to a place where a retirement community is this. Was there a difference?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, really. And a retirement home just didn't thrill me. But now everything is just very, very good. I'm very content.
She would always say, I'm not a social person. I don't belong there. I'm not a social person. And didn't take her that long. Within a few weeks, she would start joining the bingo or joining the book club or all the different activities, going to the church service. So I think she's really come along and thought it was going to be, you had to do every activity and they would force you to do stuff, or she pictured it more of a nursing home, and she found out once she got there that you can come and go as you want. She has her own car. She can do the activities, and I think it's changed a little bit. It's nothing like a nursing home.
No, not at all.
I think that's exactly the perspective, you know. Oh, she put me in a home, like she jokes about it, but, and when we'd visit other facilities, she'd get in the car, she goes, oh, those old people. How can I, you know, and in that perspective, I mean, seriously, we all never really look at ourselves that way, but that's how she felt. And I think the same thing, when she got there, she didn't realize, you know, we picked an apartment that was fairly far from everything, because she needs to walk more. And at first she was like, you know, I don't want to do that, you know, but she needs to walk, and she's been doing that, and now she gets it. But, you know, same thing. She thought, well, once she's going to be there, they're going to, you know, be knocking on her door and coming in her apartment and seeing if she's, you know, you get that nursing home perspective. And I don't think, isn't that exactly what you felt it was going to be like? And like she said, oh, those old people, you know, she just got the creeps and, you know. Really, Mom? Okay. She's a young chicken yet, so I just, you know.
I guess I did feel like, is this going to be like a nursing home? And I you know, is just someone going to be taking me around and do? It's not that. There's so much social activities. If you want to I get to play bingo twice a week.
3 times.
No, twice.
I take you on Tuesdays.
Oh, you take me on Tuesday night. Yeah, I'm sorry. But anyway, we just played one day of bingo, and I finally talked him into let's have it twice. So we have it. Now we have it on Monday and Thursday. And you could win either candy bars or pop or potato chips or just anything you want, or else get something from the bistro. Oh, how lucky can you be? And then there's so many other things. We have a church service on Monday, and we have a rosary after that, and that's you know, there's just everything you'd need. There's exercise if you needed that or wanted it. And then we have entertainment, which is lovely. We have these people that come in and they play the piano or the accordion, and we have music then, and we celebrate birthdays once a month. Everybody who's got a birthday that month, we celebrate. So, and I thought to myself, how did I ever compare this with a nursing home? Oh my God, this is fantastic. So it's really home.
Party City.
It's really, yeah, Party City, she's right. It's just, I mean, it's wonderful.
Wonderful. Andy?
I guess my perception of a retirement community before was, you know, a lot of old people, sorry. But, and when we first walk into Windermere and you see the residents walking around, that is, I mean, people are older there, obviously. But I think it's the spirit there that makes it so young. And so, and, you know, as I said, my mom and dad and I are like the Three Musketeers together. They've always had this sense of adventure and mischief, especially my dad, Mr. Mischief. But, and so, you know, I can't picture them being in an older community because they're so young. And when they're in a home, you've got neighbors that have little kids and, you know, high schoolers down the street and things like that. So being in a community, going in there and then having all the residents be, you know, senior citizens, but you see that young spirit in everyone. And I think that that's brought out by the staff, the salespeople, the people in the dining room. Everybody brings that fun and mischief out and lets everybody be playful. And so it's not what I probably thought it would be. It's so much better and makes it so fun for them.
You sure? When we first moved in, again, we knew we'd have a few friends and so on, and we started getting some close friends. And after being there a year and 3/4, I got to say I've got 283 family members there with us.
I don't know what I expected when I came. I just did my thing and came, but it's been such a good experience because we are not in, well, when I was a kid, we called it the old people's home. And I know visiting with my parents, I visit a lot of them, and it was very depressing. But now everything is so different. We have so many things to do, and they encourage us to not stay at home every day, but they have bus trips to go out for lunch, for dinner, to the movies, and they don't want us to stay home all the time and act like old people. They want us, they encourage us to get out and about. And that's what I have on my phone message. This is Jean Dolly, I'm out and about.
I remember the first time we went to one, and I remember all I said to the lady when we were leaving, I said, all my mother needs now is some slot machines. And this would be like being on a cruise, because you have the entertainment, you have the places to eat, all the activities, except for the slot machines. And that's what I used to tell my mother. I said, my goodness, if they had slot machines, could you imagine what would be happening right now? You guys would be waiting in line. But realistically, I look at it as cruise ship living, and I think it's wonderful.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. We have time. We've got about 5 minutes here, and so we've got one more question. And so if you could maybe keep it to maybe a one-sentence answer. I guess I'm going to ask this the way, how has this move most positively impacted your life?
More freedom for me.
No, how has it affected me? I'm leading a good life.
Well, it's made me healthier and a lot happier.
I'd say it's provided me peace of mind, and knowing that they're safe is really important to me.
It's definitely made me want to get up and go. I used to sleep till about 10 or 11 o'clock. I'm up at 7 a.m. every single morning. Go.
Yeah, it's just the peace of mind of her being in a place where she's safe, but mostly she's grown. She's healed, she's finished grieving, and she's moved on with her life. And now she's sharing it with everybody.
She's safe, she's active, and she does have more independence there than she did in the house by herself.
Yes, I feel very at ease there. Everyone is very friendly, and I'm very happy that I'm there.
Let me just say one thing real quick. If the staff of Windermere and the Clarendale would please stand up, what a great job you've done.
I love it. I'd like to have everybody stand up and give them applause. These guys are awesome.